gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my podcast, God's Honor. And we have...
I know the name.
Yeah, no, you're good,
That's cool.
you're good. Yeah, God's Honor,
That's
aka
cool.
Timothy. That's what it means. Spin-off!
That's actually dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a name downloaded from
Okay.
the man from above, So yeah, definitely. But yeah, everybody, welcome to the podcast. I have the homie over here, the man, the myth. I don't know about a legend, but
oh, that's
he's
crazy.
there.
You on the way. Top two, definitely
the
not two.
The homie Rylan.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show,
Of
big
course.
dog.
I appreciate you taking 45 minutes to an hour to get here.
Yes, sir.
To come to the podcast to chop it up with me.
Hey, bro. You know what they say? When 2 or 3 touch and agree.
Okay, look you.
I
Get up and
ain't
start social. I can't even do it, but we're gonna roll. We're gonna do it anyway. Yeah. But yeah, man. So. Came from Virginia all the way down to Florida. You going to school and everything, which is wonderful. Man, you 20 years old and, on fire for God and everything, man. I remember when I was 20 years old, like, to be real, I probably wasn't even thinking about God. But that's a wonderful thing, man. Really tell the people, like, how it is to be a young man who is on fire for God.
I guess in order to start that, I have to start with how we got here, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning.
God created.
Right.
My bad.
No, I mean, truth be told, it's one of those things where it was like, I grew up in church my whole life. My granddad's a bishop now, actually.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He was the pastor of my church for as long as I can remember. Both of my parents are ministers, so it runs pretty deep. But really growing up, I don't ever think I really ever had my own relationship with God as much as it was kind of just relying on my parents' relationship and their covering. And really it wasn't until I moved to Orlando, which was coming up on 3 years now, from August, that life starts to life a little bit. You're on your own, and it's like, well, I can be out here doing this. I don't know how I just got back here.
Yeah.
I don't remember much from last night, but no, honestly, it wasn't until I started to really, needed some finances or whatever it was, and it's been a while since you talked to God. Let's maybe give him a call. See if he starts to make a way out of no way. And then really it grew from there. Have I had my setbacks over time? Of course, everybody has.
All have, right. Yeah.
I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but each day that I can strive to be just a little bit closer to that perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, but being in this generation and a believer, because I won't say Christian, I'll say believer, is challenging, but not at the same time.
Speak on it.
Honestly, it's pretty waking up and I know who my Savior is. I know who woke me up this morning. I understand there's nothing that I can do without him. That's the easy part.
Yes.
But then you see how other people react in this world and the way they try you sometimes, and you just want to give them a little something back.
Jesus.
Right. That's almost on a repeat.
Yeah. No, trust me, I definitely get that.
So and then really trying to understand how to not just just because I found God. Well, I don't know if that's the term I'd use, but I guess it is a term I would use. To found him. I never lost him. But you know what I mean. Yeah,
you chose to follow.
Right. I chose. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Chose to kind of recommit my life and take my walk more seriously. Or just because understanding that just because I'm taking mine more seriously doesn't mean that I can't also witness and minister to others. Because that's literally our whole purpose is to go win others for him.
Fisher of men.
Right. So trying to really understand how I can make an impact in other people's lives as well as bring me hey, by the way, Jesus?
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to really bridge the gap between our generation and the church where it is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're slightly older than me. But,
I don't know if that was a jab.
No. I mean, you took it as a jab.
You're good.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're slightly older than me. You've been in the church. You understand how that can be and what turns people away from
Yeah.
Christ, as they think, oh, well, I don't like how church people are.
Mhm.
I don't like the music they sing, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Trying to figure out how to really reach as many people as I can from my seat.
Yeah.
And what I do on a daily basis. And I think that kind of answers the question.
No. You hit it right on the head, man. Like, you speak what's in your spirit, man.
Right.
There ain't no right or wrong answer, Again, like, I created this podcast to really get different, perspectives from other people.
Right.
Like, I know everybody just don't want to hear my voice and be like, oh, this dude just making up stuff, just hearing it from other men, women, young, old, and everything. And, it's really good to hear from a younger person, that's honestly kind of new to this and everything like that. You guys are, I won't say out in the streets, but, out there in the world, with all this partying, and, all these different things, and, just really hearing from different people. They're like, oh, well, being a believer in God, like, you guys have to live by these strict rules.
Right.
Like, it ain't fun. Like, man, like, I live for God every day. Not saying that I'm perfect, but I live for God every day, and I have a blast, man.
I'm saying.
Like, I turn up, I have fun, I make jokes, but I'm mindful on what I'm saying and how I'm really speaking my words. I try to speak more in a positive manner, but still joke around and have fun and everything like that. But that's great, man, that you're really out there trying to be a fisher of men and really witnessing to people, even though they get on your nerves, and you want to give them these holy hands and everything like that. But yeah, just really showing that love. That's the big portion that a lot of people miss. We come up to somebody and we ask them, oh, have you tried Jesus? Oh, well, just because you're in the church, like, and you've been church, that don't mean anything. But you got to really figure out, like, where these people, meet them where they're at.
Right. And then there's a certain approach that you have to take. And it's honestly something Chris and I were talking about the other day.
It's my brother, by the way.
Right, my bad. But, I mean, for one, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Yeah. And the way I speak and the way I say something.
Say it one more time.
Life and death is in the power of the tongue, dog. Like,
yes.
It really is a way to say certain things. Mm-hmm. You had to kind of get on me a little bit because, as we know, I have a little smart mouth.
I get it. I get it. Got a PhD in pettiness.
Man, I'm trying to get up out of there.
Yeah.
But nah, it's even the way you joke around sometimes with people, like, I could have just called you stupid or, something for the way you just didn't quickly think enough or, common sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, or I can just be like, hey, bro, that wasn't the brightest. Let's try it this way.
Yeah.
Kind of understanding how to, how significant your words really are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can cut pretty deep. My sword it can go pretty deep, but understanding that's not always the best way to go about things.
Definitely.
And approaching with love, while love isn't always, coddling and hey bro, like it's not always, but it's so learning how to, there's still a way to say certain things and there's a way to going back to approach and meeting people where they are. Like, I guess I should have said I'm a musician. I played my whole life. I'm a producer, shameless plug.
Phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you. I'll never claim it, but if he wants to, I'll take it. Feel free to hit my line. We'll get the number and everything.
Yeah. We're going to get them your social media stuff. I got you.
But, no, like, with that being said, growing up in church, and especially a traditional apostolic church, I'm churchy. I can't help it. This is what it is. We gonna foot stomp and hand clap till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, get the tambourine in there and everything. Yeah.
This whole like gospel hip hop, gospel R&B wave that's here now. originally, I just was not a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
This is corny. This is not.
A lot of it honestly is.
It is,
Yeah.
and this isn't gospel.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't really until I started to kind of look at it from a different perspective. Also, another conversation your brother and I had. It really comes down to the message at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The message is the same.
Yeah.
I can't approach you how I would approach somebody else because we're not on the same. You're not the same people.
Yep.
You may like traditional gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
This guy who doesn't really have a relationship with Christ. He's not really a believer.
Mm-hmm.
Out here in the streets, if you want to call it that way. He's a rap guy. He loves hip hop.
Yeah.
It's more so for those people trying to. It's the same message we're pushing from these upbeat, whatever, to these more CCM songs, and even now this gospel R&B and hip hop wave. It's not for the churchgoers. It's for those who aren't churchgoers, and understanding that there is still beauty within that. While it may not be something that I like or something you like, it's still God.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what we should be pushing over anything else anyway. It's not about how many chords I can play, who's the best singer, or any of that. What are you talking about? What's your message behind it?
Exactly.
How is that going to help bring somebody from whatever they're going through? Sadness, trials, tribulations. I'm churchy.
Okay.
Right
Go ahead.
But no, really just understanding that. I mean, approach is everything.
Yeah.
Like, where was I going with that? I lost it.
Everything.
No.
I definitely get you there. I mean, so there are certain like hip hop gospel people that I listen to, and they're pretty dope. Just to be real with you, like the homie Anthony. Shout him out. Go Shout Church. Dude is bonkers, and everything, and he has the trap beats and everything like that. But again, like you said, you listen to his message.
Right.
Like, it's fire. It's like, okay, yeah, you're talking about coming to Jesus and your story and everything like that. You're speaking love. You ain't talking about the butt booty naked women and stripping and, throwing cash everywhere and all that good stuff. He's preaching a positive message and everything like that. And, kind of like what you were saying about meeting people where they're at, when we decide to allow the Holy Spirit to move through us, we allow him to be our translators, and we translate the things that he wants us to get to his people. It's not that we're going in our own flesh and running down to the hood and everything like that and being like, Jesus loves you. Like, no, they're not trying to hear that at that moment, really meeting them where they're at, and really ministering to them in the way that they need to hear it. Something I was really talking with God actually about was I wanted to be able to really honestly talk to anybody about God without always necessarily saying, well, God did this, God did that, really again allowing him to be that translator and really speaking and translating his love through me, by not always saying, well, God is this, God has done that, God has done that, because people's hearts are hardened. They have been through that church hurt, that false spirit of, God and everything like that. And so when somebody has presented God in a negative way, of course they're not trying to hear it, It's like, well, because I've talked to so many people who are atheists, like so many different people, and when I hear them give me a reason of why they don't want to follow God, it never has anything to do with God. It has everything to do with somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, people. Yeah. I've always kind of, well, not always, but I guess more recently over the past few years, I've always kind of chalked it up to letting my light shine, like gospel is home for me, music-wise. It always will be. But there are some times I'm like, I wouldn't mind doing a little R&B gig here.
Yeah.
Like, the way I see it, as long as I can continue to let my light shine. And I may not be out there preaching, oh God, 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 right? While I'm sitting there on the keyboard while they're talking about whatever on stage.
Yeah, that works.
But you just notice that there's something different about me, you know? Okay, well, what makes you so different? Now, oh well, it's the God in me, you know? I get a chance to let his work, the work he's doing be abundant without having to really say anything. And I treat that the same way with music and ministry as well. Like, I mean, the first prayer I always pray before I get on the board, whether it's in the car on my way there or whatever time it is, I make sure I get that before I sit down. God, give me the sound your people need to hear. Remove me totally from it. I don't want my ego, whatever I'm thinking getting in the way. Usher in the sound that your people need to hear. Yes, it's not even my chorus. I'm the one physically playing it, but that's God's sound. Of course, like in conjunction to that, I'm finding out my sound, but I'd kind of just prefer if my sound was just God's sound.
No. I definitely I understand that. Actually something I was speaking with Chris about, because he was talking about, how, of course, his sound is and everything like that. And, I told him, I was like, I think that's really cool. And I mean, same thing for you too. That is super dope that, you're allowing God to use his instrument to play an instrument. Like that's dope. Like an instrument playing an instrument.
Right.
Instead of like, me, I'm just an instrument that's being used and he's the composer and he's directing everything.
Right.
So, when we give our thanks or whatever, people are like, oh well, how are you doing this, man? It's like, bro, it's not me, it's all God.
Right.
You're giving him praise for that. And it's just kind of cool that it's a double, instrumental type thing. You're using your gift that he gave you to really give it back to him, but also, shifting the atmosphere, and really ushering in his presence by, using that gift that he gave you, which is very beautiful, especially on a Sunday morning. You see me all on the floor and crying and all that good stuff, and it ain't because I ain't lost my mind. It's because you guys are hitting those right chords to really usher in the presence of God and everything, because he moves with vibrations and waves and everything, and that's all music is vibrations and waves. So if you're hitting the right vibrations and waves that he's on, because you're allowing him to use you as an instrument, playing that instrument, it like literally shifts everything. So that's beautiful.
I feel like music is just one of the most powerful tools that God gave us. I mean, of course, your voice, and, your heart. But music, I mean, it has the power to change so many things. From breaking down walls, breaking chains, to, I can play a chord that'll make you happy. I can play a chord that'll make you sad. But music is in everything. Half the time I'm driving and I put my turn signal on and it just starts clicking.
Definitely. Man. Like,
and just really being able to be used in that sense by God to effectively minister what I need to, what he needs to, rather. Is something that I feel like I take for granted from time to time. It's really not until you look back, and I'm looking back at the live streams like, oh, I was killing right there. That's dope. Or on the flip side, you should practice the song a little more. I kind of missed the fact that, while you were sitting up there fludging through that whole section, did you ever take a second and look and see how the people were really like worshiping in the moment? It wasn't about you, dog. Like,
definitely.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I'll segue for you. Man, like, definitely music is like one of the only things that does not need permission to enter your soul. It's beautiful too, just like you were saying, you can be driving down the road and you put on some Lil Jon and East Side Boys, you just, you're like, dang, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Or, I know I'm dating myself, putting some Casey and JoJo on or something to that nature. You know, that was the only that R&B song that person I could think of that pretty. I don't know, you know, whatever. But you're like, dang, why am I in this mood? Like, why do I know? Yeah, like it's like because you know it doesn't need any permission at all, and it just enters. And you know it really takes over you. You know that's why you got to be very cognizant on guarding your spirit, like guarding what you watch, guarding what you hear, guarding you know what you honestly even eat too. You know because all of that enters into your spirit and your soul, and you know that's why it's really called entertainment. Yeah, you know, because to entertain, contain,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So what you put inside your body, whether that be again music, whether it be the TV, the horror movies and everything like that, eventually that's gonna come out. You know, so you can be like, oh well man, I hadn't cussed in years, you know, and everything like that, and then all of a sudden you're looking at all these raunchy movies and stuff like that, and you're just cursing and all of that, and all of a sudden you driving down the road, you mother,
like,
you know, I'm like, what? I don't do that. I've been saved for 20 years. What's going on? And, you know, it's because of again what you're allowing to come inside you. So gotta be careful.
Yeah, no, it's real. Careful. I mean, I know for myself, Drake is like my favorite rapper. I understand, y'all. I mean, he's all right. Yeah,
he was good back in the day. Back in the day,
Drake's a lot. He's a character.